I have a lot of experience with the covert narcissist. And as I look out into the world of media, anyway, and my personal experience, actually, there are a shitload of narcissists around. And people might get confused about um, narcissists and think they're looking for something that they're not. Like somehow they have twisted what a narcissist is. But I think, in fact, there are different types of narcissism, and it is the passive aggressive narcissist. They're very violent, but they're very passive aggressive. I don't know if you know what that means. They do things covertly, behind closed, sneaky. They are snoops. They're the type of narcissist that will stalk you. Um, they like to make you feel ashamed so that they feel better. They feed off of people. And usually, in all types of narcissism, they have victims and then they have supply. And the supply are everybody else. And like, for instance, if the narcissist is mocking somebody, the supply is expected to go along with it and laugh and mock somebody with the help of the masses until that target no longer has any respect from anybody because they're being hypnotized by um, the feelings and thoughts of somebody who's very ugly inside. I don't know what happens to them. I only know extreme parental neglect is one that I see in two cases of my family, anyway. But let's go to the world and look at what happens when we become loyal to people rather than principle. Um, then we're turning over our conscience because we don't want to offend the person that we're supporting. And people have this feeling that they're obligated to, their friends or their family member or whatever. But I haven't made any videos in the past week because, well, I've really had to feel my life in the last month. I've had to go through all the ugly freaking feelings that go with being so targeted and badly maligned within my own family structure, and to have, the easy answer is I'm a crazy bitch. That's a easy and widely accepted answer, and people go on with their business as if this just doesn't matter. You know? And it does. It matters not just to me, but all women and men. Although, I got to say that, well, no, you know what? I think it's split. I think what's happened is Hollywood are full of narcissists and actors, right? And, I hate actors. And I look at the media today, and in my awareness, I see them all acting, lying and acting. And it's the same thing to me. There's no difference. I never want to be aspiring to be an actor. I would never, ever want to do that. because it's removing us from ourselves, our real emotional selves. And we become mindset, on certain subjects, and we become opinionated and we become authorities, sometimes for very evil people, and their principles are evil too. But we think, well, if they're popular and everybody likes them, so the principle's got to be okay too. No, we have to use our own heart, our own conscience, our own feelings. How do we feel if we were in charge, right? And you know, how honest do you want the world to be? Like, do you keep secrets from your loved ones? Like, do you keep fathers or mothers' secrets, or um, things that, affect your generation, your children or your grandchildren? Parents lie thinking they're protecting their children, but they're teaching their children how to lie. The people are afraid of being open up and upfront. And they'll say, oh, no, it's for the safety of my child. I don't want them to learn these things so young and blah, blah, blah. Well, why is it going on in their lives? If something's going on that's going to affect them, it's important to talk to them about it. I've talked about my spiritual world on top of my earthly journey of hell on earth, and the demons that I've encountered on earth, not on the other side. We're all Christ flames, and we have become removed from our own conscience to support one side or the other. We're looking left or right and tripping all over ourselves and our loved ones. While we go along with their tough loves and their mad mothers and their whatever other theme of the day that the media wants you to play. And if it's popular, people play it. And I'm saying that's a form of covert that's psychopathy, what they're doing to the minds of the masses. And it has to go, right? All of it. Hollywood has to go. The media. We're not able to function um, as intelligent human beings as long as we are all following different channels that, they have big smiles, and you think, oh, there's a nice person. I can tell by their eyes and their big smile. Yeah, I feel comfortable listening to that person. And they maybe give you a whole bunch of bad news, and then they want you to buy their products because that is the formula. That's the math I know because it's in my face all the time, where you're paying for your love by listening to people that don't love you. They don't know you. They want your money and your whatever else. And this hustle of a life is all born from television. It's not who we are as a humanity. And it was a new simulation life. It was another 100 years uh, of us experiencing life. But I'm afraid this time people have thrown away common decency and love, and they've replaced it with lust and and um, the imagination has gone so dark. And as I've told you, our imaginations are magic, and any child will tell you that. Let them play out their imaginations, their own imaginations, because that is what we can manifest from our imaginations. And if we're watching the same programming over and over and over again, we are watering bad things and growing bad things, weeds in our brains, which darkens our sense of love, real love. And we don't care, we're apathetic. And then you get real psychopathic, like my sister, and you actually take glee in other people's suffering. Like you enjoy it. And if you have an enemy and you're enjoying talking down them and the horrible things you'd love to have, you're looking left or right and you're tripping all over yourselves because we're smarter than this. But kids have become entitled, and now everybody's the boss, and it's a ridiculous scene, really, what I witnessed. The slaves and the masters, the abused and the abusers. Those are the two I see. And all by design, And in a mass environment, it's much more difficult to break the cycle. And I had a feeling, I got my hot milk here. Hot milk. I had a feeling that this was really grave in 2016 when I had my event. And now I see, this is how I feel and why I haven't really done a lot of videos, because I don't get any feedback really to speak about. I don't want kind words. I want to know how you think and how you feel. But people are just used to responding, right? And not speaking from their own hearts. And this is very, very troubling to me. Are they missing something? And I know I've talked quite a bit about redheads. Elizabeth Roberts, I didn't know you were a redhead till I read something the other day. But yeah, I'm not saying redheads are evil at all. I'm saying that they're, in my experience and in my spiritual awarenesses throughout my life since I was a child, there's some symbologies for me to know, and I know what they are now, and I'm not going to get into them. But we are losing the gene of the emotion of love. And I just thank may God every day that I was gifted with this information, and I was given the time and isolation to work through it all. But I will never, while I'm alive, get over what they did to me, what my family did to me. I will never get over this. I will cry and I will be in pain until I die, because that's my heart is that way. And people say, "Oh, you got to pick up and you got to move on." I understand that, But we do it in our own time, in our own, whatever's comfortable for people. And it's not been comfortable for me at all to give up on my family until, now it's like hopeless. But if it's hopeless for my family, what does that say about the world? And that's the gravity that I've been concerned about. That the 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 darkness that's going to come to this realm is beyond what you can imagine. And we are the ones creating it with our thoughts. Our thoughts and watering these thoughts and thinking them over and over, watching a program over and over is creating black earth. And I need to tell you that. I'm losing hope. And I know a lot of you put a lot of trust in certain idols or people or media or whatever, or in your own family. You're depressed or you're anxious and you don't know why. There's a reason why. You're being messed with. And I was being messed with my whole 20-year marriage. And I lied to myself. You know, it was the strangest thing. It was really young in our marriage. And a couple of years later, my younger sister got married. And um, somebody ruined her guest wedding book. Like, really evil writing all over her guest wedding book. And nobody could figure out who did it. But 10 years into my marriage, my husband admitted it was him. And now, as I sit back and think, everything makes sense when you know the answer. And the truth is, I was targeted. I wasn't even married for me, it was for my son. That's how sick the world has become. That's what people are capable of doing in this free for all online dating and stepfather and stepmother and going in and out of homes. Children aren't safe. And I can't stand it. I've seen it in my own family, and I've seen them in very dangerous situations. And I've been in danger. My son was in danger, and my granddaughter, all of us. And I'm telling you, the narcissism, the entitlement that some people have, that they don't think that they don't think there's a consequence. Oh, yes, there is. To lying and cheating and thieving and crimes against humanity, which are crimes against humans, you're destroying yourself. You have you have only until you die to fix it. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but I am not like other people. I can't carry around guilt or shame. Things I've done to people. I feel it until I fix it. Now, if I can't fix it with the person, I fix it in my heart. And scapegoating and not taking responsibility for our children and their upbringing and demonizing a parent, um, creating more monsters that way. Trust me, if you're demonizing a parent or a grandparent, you know, that's probably right up there in the list of evil to me. It's one thing with media breaking apart families and people making choices, but to interfere in other people's lives and love, opportunity for love, which my grandchildren never had with me, the opportunity for a lot of love from this Nana. So it's not just the target that is ending up, um, the loser in all of this. It is um, everybody involved, everybody blind, everybody willing to look at the narcissist because it's the easiest, best answer. And you can go to sleep at night that way. Well, I find hot milk really helpful. And if you are suffering from a conscience problem, there is no problem so big that cannot be fixed. People build their imaginations up, like how horrible it'd be if somebody found out this or somebody found out that. No, no, it's much, much better to spill the beans because nothing is hidden and nobody is getting away with anything. And people are dying, and they're dying and finding out horrible things about their own family, like my son did. And we don't die. We go to our funerals. We are conscious, intelligent beings. Suddenly, we are back in our bubble of love, our consciousness of love. That's who we are. And then to see this horror show of what we do, how our families are dying left, right, and center, and you know, everybody's concerned about themselves and their own pocketbook or their own story, whatever, because it's safer. Well, I used to go to a church with Trevor until he was 13. He said no more. But one of the songs that they sang at the end of the service was Peace Begins with Me. And I'm telling you guys this, you know, I don't want to sit around blaming the narcissists, the passive aggressive ones, the open and flamboyant ones. I want to talk about humanity as a whole because I see everybody as, you know, entitled, entitled to think thoughts about others that are nonsense. When you have a thought, not only against others, but against yourself, these thoughts, if you keep watering them, you're going to create them and you're not going to be happy with yourself. So, what I've learned in my isolation and pain and suffering while I was going through all of what I was going through is I've learned how to drop thoughts that I picked up and learned, you know, that people told me, how stupid I am or how ashamed I should be or something, right? Is then you begin to feel that. So you need to those are untrue statements. You have to look and go, well, should I be ashamed? Really? And look at each thing and figure out what you need to fix. And if there's nothing to fix, then you may have been just targeted by a narcissist to feel ashamed. And that's how they feel better is by looking and judging others and sizing them all up all the time and, not loving them, not loving them unconditionally. And you know what? I used to say that was my whole problem. I can't see evil coming. I couldn't see it in my husband of 20 years. Yes, I do see it now. It makes total sense. All of my intuition was true, but I didn't believe in myself. So I didn't express myself. I put it away. And it cost me everything. Everything. And I need you guys to know that there are, demons out there. But they're walking and talking in human bodies. And the best advice I can give is if you are being affected, you gotta shut off the the noise and go back into yourself. And what do you want out of life? Who are you? And that's what I've been doing. I've been away from social media for the most part because I'm gonna figure out who I am now. I've taken my name Nana Marie off my Facebook. I changed it back to Cheryl Ann. That's my name. I'm not a Nana to anybody, and I'm not saving the world from anything. So I'm back to Cheryl Ann, and um, I'm just going to take one day at a time. One thing I do know is that every day is going to build for a better tomorrow. It's like insurance, right? Whatever I do today is my insurance for tomorrow. And listen, our feelings matter. And right now, the world is going insane because they are living amongst liars or they are liars. And they're trying to cover up and then they get angry and blah, blah, blah. So I see. Uh, I see a lot of chaos, but it was all self induced, and everybody knew what was going on since the 70s. At least I knew. I knew when I saw Ronald Reagan, I said, that's going to be the start of a world war. And you know what? Donald Trump seals the deal for me. It's not that I love Biden. I don't look left or right. I am telling you about my emotional feelings when I was a child. And I confused those two, Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. But I had a lot of intuitive moments that are now popping up wide in me. And it helps confirm and validate what I was told spiritually, that this life is deliberate and there is a purpose and a reason, and I'm not alone. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know what yours is. Nobody ever tells me what their story is. You should tell me, because I don't know if anybody else is even feeling me at all or has the same experiences as me or even knows what's going on. I know some of you do, and I know some of you are really praying hard for a change, but it really is going to be an extra effort out of each of us to express love. And if it can't be to your family, then, just a kind face. You're going to don't expect anything back when you express love, because I can't tell you how many times I've been, you know, I could have easily been offended after I gave away my soup or homemade bread or something to neighbors. There are a few occasions I could have been offended, but no, people aren't like me. They don't do what I do. And that's why I'm here to teach that and not to complain, because we've become comfortable hoarding and being selfish and entitled and authorities. And, you know, it's all media driven this time. The simulation is media driven. And I just want to help you unplug your brain for a few minutes here and just unwind what you don't want and build up what you do want. You are in charge and you are in control. And even if you have a narcissist in your family or controlling humanity, we still have to go on and make decisions and choices that uh, work for you, and don't hurt you and don't hurt your loved ones. So that's what I've got to say. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year.